Finding and using the F&B Toolbox Talks, Foreman and Superintendent Training Series. In this video, we're going to introduce how to get to the F&B Toolbox Talks using two different means, Procore and the Bamboo app. We're going to describe how to download the Toolbox Talks for your delivery to the field. We're going to identify where to find the downloaded Toolbox Talks on your tablet or phone. We're going to describe how to use those Toolbox Talks once you have them downloaded. We're going to describe how to upload completed Toolbox Talks into the safety folder. And then last, we're going to identify the frequency of Toolbox Talk delivery. Here we can see a screenshot of my tablet, and what we're looking for on this particular screen are the apps Procore and Bamboo HR. Bamboo HR is a human resources app. In addition to having Toolbox Talks identified here, you'll also be able to get to SDS sheets and training records for things, training programs you've completed while here at Fessler Bowman. What we're going to start with is going into Procore and showing you how to find the Toolbox Talks in Procore. When logging into Procore for the first time, the email address that you're going to use is your Fessler & Bowman email account and whatever your normal login password is for your email. Once you've logged in, Fessler & Bowman uses a two-step verification, so you'll get a code sent to you via text message to your phone number. Once you've got that code, as you can see here on the screen, you can go ahead and click the Don't Ask Again for 150 days so that you don't have to do this every time that you log in. Hit Verify, and it will take you to this next screen. Once you've verified your information, you're going to want to select the company. Now, to get to the Fessler Bowman Toolbox Talks, you're going to need to select Fessler Bowman, which should be the top list. Now, the other items that you see there will be other Procores that, depending on project assignments, you may or may not have various other companies' Procores. Like in this case, I've got Gray, Turner Construction Company, and Verizon Wireless because these are active projects that I'm involved in. Once you've selected the Fessler Bowman account, then you're going to want to go to the Safety 2021 project, which you can either type in the search bar, or in this case, because I've recently been in it, you can see it's at the top of my list, and I could just select that, and that would take me to the Safety 2021 project. If you've already been working in Procore, you may have a project already selected. To change projects, you simply go to the project identifier at the top of the screen, click the little down arrow next to the title, and then using the same methods that we used before, search for Safety 2021, select it. Once you've selected the project, you're going to be taken to the Procore Tools screen, which is what you see here. Now, don't be alarmed if your Procore Tools screen doesn't look like what you see here, because based on your permission template, you may have access to different tools, which is okay. What you're really looking for is to make sure that you have access to the Documents tool. The Documents tool is where we're going to go to find a variety of information within the project related to safety and various other front-end documents, drawings, and other stuff. All right, so make sure that you have access to that. If you don't have access to this tool, you'll want to contact Chris Stein, who's our IT director, or reach out to your regional construction director, or Jason Griffin, who's our corporate safety director, to make sure that we get this tool turned on for you. Once you've navigated to the Documents tool and clicked on it, it's going to open up this Documents folder where you have a series of subfolders, including design files, bidding documents, safety, etc. We're going to focus on the safety program file today because this is where we're going to house our internal safety documents. Once you click into the safety folder, you're going to see two additional folders. There's the Fessler and Bowman folder, and then there's an external folder. The Fessler and Bowman folder is where we're going to house our internal safety documents that we would use out there in the project, and to include things like our site-specific safety program, Toolbox Talks, specific SDS sheets, or if there's specialized equipment that we're using on a project, this is where you're going to find all of those materials. The external documents folder would be for things like subcontractor submittals, safety submittals to us, where we would be tracking what our subs are doing on our sites. So let's go ahead and click on the Fessler and Bowman folder. Once we get into the Fessler and Bowman folder, we're going to have a folder here for completed Toolbox Talks. In Safety 2021, this is where the safety department will be tracking the completion of Toolbox Talks and the submissions, right? So we'll talk a little bit about the naming convention on the Toolbox Talks later, about how we're going to rename those so that we can save them so that they're identifiable. But for now, we're going to focus on going to the Toolbox Talks folder where we have all of the Toolbox Talks. So here we have a list of Toolbox Talks. To the right of each of the titles of the Toolbox Talks, you can see some of them have a check mark, some of them have this little cloud icon. The check mark means that they've been downloaded to the tablet at some point in the past. The iCloud emblem that you see there just means it has not yet been downloaded and that you would want to download it. To use the Toolbox Talks, you do have to download them. So for purposes of the example, we're going to use the air monitoring Toolbox Talk that I've just selected, and we'll walk through about how to download it and using that here in a minute. Now that we've selected this Toolbox Talk, we have to download it to our tablet before we're able to really use it in the field. So the first thing we're going to do is click at the top of the page here. We're going to click on this little icon here, which is the sharing icon. And when we click on that, it's going to open up this menu. On the menu, we're going to look at the very bottom of the menu there where it says Save to Files. That's going to allow us to download the Toolbox Talk directly to our tablet. Now, this may seem like a lot of steps to go through to download the talk every week. What we really should be doing is kind of planning ahead to see what activities we have coming up and downloading maybe a few weeks or 3 or 4 weeks worth of Toolbox Talks at one time so that we can plan these out and get this set up so it's less of a process for you out there in the field on a weekly basis. Once you've selected the Save to File option, this menu is going to pop up. As you can see here in the gray, we have the Save to My iPad. Down on that list there, if you hit that little drop down arrow, you're going to see a list of folders where you want to save it. Now, I have created a Toolbox Talks folder on my tablet. Now, how did I go about doing that? Well, first, I selected this little icon up here, which is the folder with the plus sign on there. Once you click that icon, it's going to open this new folder dialog box, at which point you're just going to rename that folder, and then you're going to hit the Done button. It's shown here. Once you've done that, you're going to have this nifty little folder here that you can then save your Toolbox Talk to. The next step that you want to do is to rename the Toolbox Talk. Once you've clicked on this area here to rename your Toolbox Talk, it's going to open up this Rename Document dialog box. And you can see here it just starts with the name of the Toolbox Talk, and to the left of that you can see the cursor icon right in front of the A there. So what we're going to want to do there is type in our current project numbers. Whatever project you might be working on, we're going to type in that project number so that when we save it to the completed Toolbox Talks folder in the Safety 2021 folder, it allows us to sort those by job so we can see which Toolbox Talks were done on which jobs. Once we've renamed the file, then again we're just going to hit the Done button in the top right corner, and then that is going to give us our renamed file, and then we're just going to hit Save. Once we've done that, that file is now in the Files section on your tablet. Before we move into how we actually use the Toolbox Talks in the field, I'm going to show you another way to get to the Toolbox Talks in Bamboo. I personally find the process of getting to the Toolbox Talks in Bamboo to be significantly faster and easier than trying to access them through Procore. So hopefully this next series of slides will help to make things a little bit easier out there for you in the field. Similar to what we did in the previous section, I'm going to start with how we go about accessing Bamboo utilizing the tablet or your iPhone. So the first thing we're going to do is go to the tablet or iPhone's homepage, which is what you see here on the screen is a screenshot of my tablet's homepage, and you can see that we have the Bamboo app right here. This is the icon that you'll be looking for. It might be somewhere else on your tablet other than the home screen, so you might have to scroll through your apps until you find it, but this is the icon that you're looking for. Once you find this icon, you're just going to click on the icon, and if you haven't logged into Bamboo before, it's going to ask you to log in. If you have logged in, it's just going to open up to your home page information. Once you've opened up to your home page, one of the things that you want to look for is down in the bottom right corner of your home page, you're going to see a Files button. So what you'll want to do is go ahead and click on that Files button. That Files button is going to open up this screen here. And on this screen, you'll see the files that you have access to. Now, again, this might be a little bit different depending on your access within Bamboo. But as a foreman or superintendent, you should have access to your handbooks, material safety data sheets, any personal certifications that you've achieved during your time with Fessler Bowman, and of course, Safety Toolbox Talks. So now we're going to go ahead and click on the Safety Toolbox Talk link, and this is going to open up the Toolbox Talks that we have available in Bamboo. All of the current Toolbox Talks that we've created have been uploaded to Bamboo, and we will be adding to this on a regular basis. Keeping with the example that we used earlier, we're going to go ahead and select the air monitoring toolbox talk again, and this then will open up the toolbox talk. So here we can see in the once the toolbox talk is open, similar to what we had to do in Procore, we are going to have to download the toolbox talk to our tablet or iPhone prior to being able to use it out there in the field. Now, where this is a little bit different than Procore is that in Bamboo, we're going to click on this series of 3 dots in the upper right corner. Once you've selected the 3 little dots, you're going to see this sharing dialog box open up. So we're going to select share in this case, and what that's going to do is it's going to open the sharing dialog box. And this, we're just going to select the save to files option that's toward the bottom of the list, and then it's going to open the location dialog box. Now, similar to what we saw in Procore, if you don't already have a toolbox folder, you're going to want to create a folder for your toolbox talk. So you do that by clicking the folder at the top right corner of the dialog box there, and it's going to open this new folder box. Then we're going to title it Toolbox Talks, select Done, and we will now have that Toolbox Talks folder at the bottom of the list if you don't have it already. At that point, we're going to rename the file. All right, so right at the top of that dialog box there, you can see the name of the Toolbox Talk. You're going to click on that, and at the beginning of that, before the A, you're going to put in the project number followed by a dash for your particular project, and then you're going to select the save icon in the top right corner of the screen. In this next section, we're going to discuss how we go about accessing our saved toolbox talks that we downloaded from Procore or Bamboo and saved to the My Files app within iOS. To access the files that we downloaded from Procore or Bamboo, we're going to start at the home screen on our iPhone or on our tablets. And then down in the bottom of that home screen in the quick access bar, you'll see this blue folder icon. Well, that is the My Files folder app. So you go ahead and click on that, and what that's going to do is that's going to open up the My Files folder, and the individual location within My Files is going to be the last location that you had open. In my case, you can see that I had the iCloud drive open last. So in order to switch the location, we're going to go over to the top left corner, and we're going to click on the Files button that you see here, and that is going to open up a side panel where you have some location options. So in this case, we're going to select the On My iPad feature, which is then going to switch us over to the Toolbox Talks that we have, that folder we have set up there. We'll go ahead and close that side panel, and now we have access to the air monitoring toolbox talk that we downloaded from either Procore or Bamboo earlier. And then it's just a matter of selecting that toolbox talk to open it up. And we'll talk about how we use that toolbox talk next. Once you've opened the toolbox talk, there are a variety of features built into each of the toolbox talks that you want to be familiar with. This is a tool that you'll want to prepare prior to delivering the talk, as there are a lot of features and additional resources that are built into the toolbox talks. So to kind of kick this off, the first thing we want to look at are key points. On the left side of the toolbox talk, where you see the arrow, the key points are the takeaways that we want the guys to understand at the end of that toolbox talk. Next up, we also have some additional resources. So additional resources might be videos, like in this case, how to use the Altair 4X, or we may have a QR code to support print versions of the toolbox talk. Maybe you're not doing it on the tablet, maybe you've printed this out, but you still want to be able to show that video. So you scan that QR code and it will bring that video up. Now, this does not just limited to videos. It might be web pages, e-tools from OSHA, or other resources that you can use to help with the understanding of the toolbox talk or show the guys out there in the field. Lastly, last page of the toolbox talks is the training record. That's the sign-in sheet. That's the piece that we need to get back into Procore so that we have a record that the training was done. So looking at this sheet, the PDFs, the toolbox talks are all in a fillable PDF format, which means you simply click on the cell and you can type in the information. Once you've filled out the information and had the guys go through and sign it, you only need to hit the Done button. The tablet will store the information that you filled in on the Toolbox Talk, which you can then upload back into Procore in the Safety 2021 folder, and we'll talk about how we go about doing that next. Once we've completed the Toolbox Talk, we're going to need to upload the file back into Procore. So we're going to open Procore, go to the Safety 2021 project, and click on the Documents folder. Once we've clicked on the Documents folder, it's going to open up that file tree. We're going to check on the Safety folder, then we're going to click the Fessler and Bowman folder, and then we're going to click on the completed Toolbox Talks folder. Now that we're in the completed Toolbox Talks folder, what we're going to do is we're going to select this little plus icon in the upper right corner of the screen here, and it's going to bring up this Upload Files dialog box. Now this dialog box will appear at the bottom of your screen. So you want to select the Upload Files, which is then going to open another dialog box, which is the Add Files dialog box. Now here you have some locations that you can choose from, whether it be your camera if you took a picture of something, a library within Procore, or a file that you want to upload from your device. Now in this case we're going to select the file from device, which will then bring up this dialog box here. Now in this dialog box what we're really looking at is to select our location. So similar to what we did earlier when we saved the Toolbox Talk to our tablet or our iPhone, we're going to select the On My iPad or On My iPhone location, and that will bring up the folder that we created for that section for Toolbox Talks. We'll go ahead and select our Toolbox Talks folder, and then it's just simply a matter of selecting which Toolbox Talk you want to upload. Now if you have multiple files here that you need to upload, you can upload all of those files at the same time. You just need to select the files that you want to upload. Once you've selected those files, it's going to bring up this Add Files dialog. Now this is the last dialog box you'll see prior to upload, and basically what it is doing is giving you the opportunity to see which files you have selected for upload, whether or not you want tracking on this, and whether or not these are private. Right? And in both cases these should just remain off. But then after you've verified that you've got all the files that you want there, you'll go ahead and click that upload icon at the bottom of the screen there, and as long as you have a good internet connection or a good wireless signal, these files should be successfully uploaded to the completed Toolbox Talks folder in the safety drive on Procore. So in conclusion, in this training module we have seen the following: how to access the Toolbox Talks in Procore and Bamboo HR, how to download the Toolbox Talks from both systems, how to use the downloaded Toolbox Talks in the field, and how to upload completed Toolbox Talks to the Safety 2021 project in Procore. If you have any questions during this process, please feel free to reach out to Jason Griffin, Corporate Safety Director, your Regional Construction Safety Directors, or your Regional Safety Managers. Any of us should be able to help you navigate this process or give you the information you need to get to the person who can help you. Thanks for watching.